Anointed Warriors. What's up, spiritual family? I'm your host, Brother Mongoose. I am a minister and a philosopher. I'm promoting a holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry. So it's a unique type of ministry. It's different, and I'm a different kind of minister. This holistic mind, body, and spirit ministry provides services that consist of experiential philosophy for the mind, ISSA certified fitness training for the body, and clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices for the spirit and for the soul. Additional services consist of motivational speaking, youth and young adult mentoring and counseling, all under the umbrella of the philosophical consultative services, the physical fitness training, and the clean-hearted spiritual teachings and practices. In other words, the philosophical consultative services adds the other two elements in as well, the youth and young adult mentoring and counseling, the other branches as well. It's all under the umbrella of a holistic approach to life, to health and wellness, and to fulfilling and running the race that He has set before us. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about the ministry, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about my testimony further on in this message. But right now, I want to start by encouraging you guys to realize that it's important that you enter into this new year and being committed to saying yes to you. Being committed to saying yes to you. And of course, you know that means saying yes to Him, His will, His purpose for your life, your God-given authenticity. Saying yes to you as it falls under His umbrella. You know, we go through our whole lives being taught, being trained, being indoctrinated to always saying yes to someone else. Whether it's our parents, our teachers, our bosses at work, our spouses. We've just been indoctrinated across the board to say yes to everyone else, which is fine. And there certainly is a place for that. But we're never taught, or very rarely are we taught, the importance of you saying yes to you. So that's what today's message is about encouraging you guys to not be afraid. Don't be fearful of you. You know, you've come too far. You've gone through too much. You've traveled too much terrain. You've navigated too many obstacles. You've overcome too many hurdles for you to now sit back and be afraid and be fearful of you. I posted a couple different videos that are sequelative to today's video and message. One of the videos, if you haven't watched it, please check it out. It's titled Created to Rock the Boat. An additional message that I posted, again, it's very sequelative of that message. The other video was titled The Flow State. And these two messages walk hand in hand with today's message. Those two messages that I just mentioned, those two videos, they're all about finding and claiming new ground in your spiritual evolution. Claiming new heights, reaching new heights in your spiritual evolution, and finding greater peace and harmony in your life overall. That's the underlying theme of the aforementioned two video messages. The underlying theme is that you attain liberation when you accept who you are, that being the fact that you were created to rock the boat. When you accept that, you can just get on with it. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to run away from it. Stop trying to change stuff about yourself that's not broken to begin with. Just accepting who you are. Liberation is found in that. Accepting that you are born, created to rock the boat. And then getting in the flow state of that acceptance. Flowing with that. Flowing uphill, downhill, around the curves, in the twists and the turns of life. Just flowing with it. Flowing with who you are in all aspects of you and in all areas of your life. Getting into that flow state where you're not putting up any resistance against you. You become totally okay as you continue to strive to be better, achieve more, and evolve. At the same time, you get into that flow state of becoming comfortable with who you are and where you are in life, in your finances, in your relationships, etc. And then finally, at the pinnacle of these messages, which could be titled, a chapter 1, 2, 3. The fact that you were created to rock the boat, accepting that, getting into the flow state of it, and then the pinnacle of it all is today's message, which is to not be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to accept who you are, and don't be afraid to flow with it. Don't fear you. Don't be fearful of you. Say yes to you. You are worthy. You are capable. You are strong. You are persistent. You are resilient. You are determination. You are determined. You are driven. And you've got a whole history that if and when you should ever find yourself in doubt, all you have to do is look back. Whether it's look back yesterday, 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, you can look back and say, okay, hold on a second. There was this situation. There was that circumstances where I didn't see how I was going to make it. Matter of fact, I doubted that I ever would. And yet here you stand. You are already all of these things. Don't be afraid to be those things. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful to say yes to you. And I get it. This can oftentimes require a great deal of hard work, a great deal of focus, a great deal of determination, and a great deal sometimes of getting used to. Walking your own God-given authentic path is not as all rainbow and sunshine as we were taught coming up in school. We were always taught, just be yourself. Just be you. Be that leader. Follow your own path. But then as we've grown and society has entered into this cosmic evolution that we're all going through, we realize that it can become harder and harder, more difficult and more challenging as we go, especially if you're of a certain age group. It becomes even that much more challenging because some of these guys and girls, if you will, the younger generations, they were born into this matrix. They were born into this, and they're kind of like the two young fish who were swimming east, and they came across a couple old fish swimming west. And the old fish, the young fish said, "Hey, what's up, old timers? What's happening?" And the wise older fish said, "Hey, what's up, young guys? How y'all doing, man? How's the water?" And the two young fish looked at each other and said, "Okay, what's water?" They were so immersed and submersed into what was taking place, they had no idea about it even being there. So this younger generation have been born into this madness, this chaos, this what I refer to as this assembly line culture, where everybody is the same, everybody walks the same, they dress the same, they talk the same. They got these categories that they put people in if they behave like this, if they behave like that, if they got this amount of money, that amount of education. Everybody's just been crammed into this one size fits all when it comes to how they look at life and how they approach life. So if you're of a certain age group, it can be even that much more difficult. And yet this is the great workshop of life. In this assembly line culture, we got to be aware that when you're committed to being your God-given authentic self, steady trying to grow, steady trying to be the best human being that you can be, growing in wisdom and compassion and understanding and all these different things, but doing that organically as it relates to you being true to your God-given authentic self. We realize that when we're walking such a path, there can be possible consequences to walking said path. For example, it could cost you a loss of friends, loss of family members. Your reputation could be damaged, shot through the grease. You could be excommunicated. You can have your business blackballed. You could be attacked physically. All as you go through this process of being labeled weird, being labeled arrogant, antisocial, a tough guy, a lame, etc., etc. But you're not here to fear those things. These things are to be embraced. These things are here to encourage you to press in when it comes to you saying yes to you. A lot of times, guys, as I do my own introspective work, when I speak to students and clients, family members, sometimes just a average person that I bump into on the street, a lot of times what I find out is that for those of us who are walking this path of saying yes to who we are unapologetically, we can oftentimes see these different changes developing on the horizon, these different consequences that I just mentioned. Losing friends, reputation taking hit, people looking at you, prejudging you. We see these things developing on the horizon. And oftentimes, as these things continue to mount, it's very easy, or it would be very easy, to abort the assignment of saying yes to you, to abort the commitment to saying yes to you. It would be easy. Oftentimes it's easy to just abort all of that, get back in the box, and toe the line. It could be very tempting to do those things. In fact, this is what's happened to the vast majority of people on this planet. Most people saw those changes developing in their lives. They saw those things developing in their business, their relationships. They saw it on the horizon. Hey, me and my spouse, we just don't get along like we used to. We can't connect. hey man, when I walk into the office, because I don't share these views and, because I'm not interested, or maybe I'm just not engaging, I'm not being antisocial, it just doesn't fit where I'm at. I noticed that, people look at me a certain way. People are, the smear campaign began. All these different things begin to happen. And unfortunately, a lot of people committed suicide of their self in terms of their inner man and their inner woman. They're still here physically, but they committed spiritual suicide of themselves, and they got back into the box. It was too weird. It was too difficult, too challenging, too strange. And they wasn't willing to pay that price. So unfortunately, we got a lot of people on the planet that's committed to getting back into that box and remaining there where it's safe. And so they saw them things, and that's what caused them to abort the very assignment, the very quest, and the very commitment that you are now making to yourself, which is to say yes to you. They aborted that. And not only did they abort that, but oftentimes what's taking place is that they can also see what's happening with you, what's going on with you. They can see how you get laughed at, talked about, mistreated, the smear campaigns. They can see this, and it's a constant reminder to you. And this is why the powers that be, the narcissists, the people that practice, dark magic, the unseen governmental hands, the structure, the social engineering that's taking place, it's all designed to make an example out of you and me and all of us who carry this light. The system uses us to make an example out of us, to teach those people that are inside the box, that have said no to themselves, hey, listen, if you ever think about saying yes to yourself, don't even think about it, because you see that guy over there, you see that girl over there, you see how she minds her own business. She don't bother anybody. She's soft-spoken, she's humble, she's loving, she's approachable, he's respectable, she's this, he's that. You see how they get treated? Even though you see them not bothering a soul. But because they won't fit into this narcissistic madness, they want to say yes to themselves and say no to the way this assembly line culture demands. Then this is how they're going to get treated. And don't you think about it, because this is how you'll be treated. So this is what's taking place. And trust me, everyone, including myself, likes to have friends. Everyone wants to fit in. Everyone wants to be accepted, to be invited to the social gatherings and all of these things. Everyone. It's almost likened into the story of Christ when he was in the wilderness and the devil took him up in the sky and showed him all these different kingdoms, all these different empires, and said, hey, you can have all of these things if you'll just bow down and worship me. So you could have friends, and I'm using that as an example, as it relates to this particular point I'm making here. It's an analogy of the devil taking Christ up and showing him all the kingdoms of the world and say, you can have these things if you'll just bow down and worship me. The enemy has told our friends, loved ones, companions, society at large, hey, you can have friends. You can fit in. You can have a pristine reputation. You can get that promotion. You can do all these things if you'll just bow down and worship me, / be a part of that system. And Christ denied the offer. You have denied the offer. But most of your friends and most of society at large, they accepted the offer. So now that you've accepted the offer, now it's time for you to no longer be fearful about it. It's been cemented. It's been fossilized. It's time for you to move forward and say yes to you unapologetically and without fear. You see these things on the horizon. You've seen them on the horizon. Some of you may be in the midst of them already. In terms of, hey man, look, you might have to go ahead and let that divorce be what it's going to be. Not promoting that, but you've given it your all. That person just is not willing or not interested in coming along with you on your spiritual journey, and you've done everything you can to assist them on theirs and wait for them, or whatever the case may be. The time has come for you to unapologetically say yes to you, and to do so again without fear. Don't be afraid of walking. Don't be fearful of walking alone, standing alone, or being alone. They say when you walk alone, when you stand alone, you oftentimes get the better view. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful of anything about you. This is a new day. This is a new season. He's doing a new thing in your life. Don't be afraid of your beliefs, whether it's religious, political, personal beliefs. Don't be afraid of that. Continue to grow, research, pray, evolve, and all of those things. But where you are now is where he meant for you to be now. So don't be fearful of your beliefs, your opinions, your 2 cents. Speak those things out. Don't be afraid. Don't be fearful to speak your truth, your peace of mind. Don't be fearful of your mistakes and claiming and owning your mistakes. Don't be fearful of your personality, who you are as a human being. Don't be fearful of your financial status, fearful or ashamed. They laugh and talk about people that are homeless right now, but unless Heavenly Father intervenes, I'll say 95% of people in America will soon be there. They'll all be there soon. That's a whole different video. But the fact of the matter is, the whole world is heading to a certain point and a certain path. And we know what he prescribes for these days and times right before his eventual return. So don't be afraid of where you are financially, what you have and what you don't have. Don't be afraid of your skin color. Maybe you're in a certain environment, a certain neighborhood, and you have a certain skin color. It's not popular. It's rubs people the wrong way. Don't be afraid of that. If he had wanted you to be a different color, he would have made you a different color. Don't be afraid of nothing about you, not the way you laugh, the way you dress. Don't be fearful of what you drive. I don't care if you are pulling up to a 5-star restaurant. If that's the car you drive and it doesn't fit the ambiance of the restaurant, so what? It's what you drive. Don't be fearful. Pull up. Don't be fearful. Don't be fearful. Say yes to you. Don't be fearful about being laughed at, mocked, ridiculed, prejudged, misunderstood. Don't be afraid of what they say about you. Don't fear what they think about you. And I'll close with this, guys. The good book says that you were fearfully and wonderfully made. There's that word again, fearfully and wonderfully made. When you say yes to that, you begin to really, really embody that. And it comes to, it's very liberating when you realize that the narcissists fear you. Those who benefit from loss and darkness and disharmony, they fear you. Those who benefit from lies, deception, and confusion, they fear you. Those who get off on jealousy and those that are insecure, they fear you. Demons themselves fear you, for you are fearfully and wonderfully made. They all fear you. So now you can't be afraid, and you can't afford to fear yourself. Can't be afraid to fear yourself. I'm sorry, you can't, you can't afford to be fearful of yourself. This is why all those other people, the things that I mentioned, the narcissists, the evil practitioners, the demons, the people filled with jealousy, hatred, and insecurity, this is why they fear you. And this is why they say no to you. Because he says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So you can't afford to fear yourself. They fear you. And they say no to you. It's time for you to say yes to you. Now, that's what I got for you guys. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you'd like some information about how you can build your inner strength, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your worthiness, reach out to this ministry. That's exactly why this ministry has been established. Now, quick little testimony to honor my Heavenly Father and to receive the victory that He has promised me. For He has promised all of us that we receive victory over the enemy through the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. So I honor Him and I glorify Him with this testimony. I receive the victory with this testimony, and I also seek to inspire and encourage you guys to reflect on your own testimony that you have. Some of you guys have enormous testimonies from the past as well as the present. He's always been there for you. He's going to always be there for you. He's not a halfway God. He's not going to halfway deliver you. He's not going to halfway save you. He's not going to halfway heal you. He's not going to halfway prosper you. He's an all the way God, and He's taken you thus far. He's going to take you all the way. My personal testimony, I spent the first 34 years of my life in poverty. I was a drug addict at the age of 9. I ran away from the house, started carrying guns, so-called shooting people, all kinds of violent crimes with knives, guns, baseball bats, brass knuckles, bottles, anything that I could find. Starting at the age of 9. At the age of 11, I was sentenced to my first sentence in the Juvenile Department of Corrections, which ultimately consisted of 3 total separate sentences in the Juvenile Department of Corrections, ranging from the age of 11 up through the age of 17. I was addicted to drugs, again, all this stuff, homeless. I was obese, nearly 80 pounds overweight. I suffered from anxiety, depression. I've experienced domestic violence and domestic abuse. 4 separate sentences in the Adult Department of Corrections from the age of 17 to 34. So He is real. He's delivered me and prospered me and rehabilitated me from my center to my circumference. I'm now the founder of this ministry and the provider of these services to you guys. I founded my own fitness training company. I'm an all-natural professional bodybuilder, and I'm a certified fitness trainer. The youth mentoring, the motivational speaking, all that stuff is to give back. So He's real. And some of you guys know He's real because He's been working in your lives in the past and in the present. How else could you be there? So stand tall in who you know you are, and let 2025 be the year that you boldly, unapologetically say yes to you. Thank you guys again so very much for tuning in. If you have any questions about the services, if you're interested in the services, if you have follow-up questions, I'm going to leave a link with the email address down in the description. All of these services can be provided to you right here online. Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, all that good stuff. So go ahead, hit the email link, and schedule your appointment for your consultation and evaluation. Please also, guys, visit the physical fitness branch of the ministry located at mountfitnessmbs.com. That'll give you a little bit of insight into my experience and my expertise when it comes to physical fitness training. And if this ministry is providing you with any benefits whatsoever, please keep in mind that this ministry is supported and funded by viewers just like you. So, to support and fund this ministry, if the Holy Spirit moves you to do so, you can start by hitting the subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, giving the video a thumbs up, and also hitting the share button. Help spread this word, help encourage people, and help this ministry grow by way of the YouTube algorithm so that this ministry can help even more people. Do those things for me, please, and then also hit the bell icon if you'd like to receive a notification every time I upload a new message. And to help fund this ministry so that I can spend more time making videos and study, doing all the things that are required for me to hold myself accountable to you guys and provide you guys with a high quality information, motivation, insight, and all those different things that you deserve, then please go to the Cash App. I'm going to leave a link down in the description for that. Remember, no amount is too small. It does take pennies in order to end up to $1. So send your donations, schedule your initial consultation and evaluations. I do love you all. I do appreciate you guys. And I encourage you guys to live a life that embodies from your center, from your heart for real. Live a life that embodies faith over fear, truth over tradition, love over lust, and people over profit. That's what I got for you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I love you all. I am Brother Minister Mongoose, and I will holler back. Peace.